Cut Deep is back. We apologize profusely for our extended break. Last season was cut short by the spike in COVID cases and extended through the summer holidays. But we're so excited to be bringing you Season 5, a new season of exciting guests and lots of information. You missed me, and I certainly missed you. And to show my appreciation, I've put a 2-hour special together for you with some of the BVI's top activists and social media influencers. In studio with me tonight, we have Sam Julio Henry, Kishma Penn, and the man himself, Pico Moth. It is tea time in the studio. The concept of Cut Deep was developed with a focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It is a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. I want to welcome back Blossoms Flores as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank Varieties Apparel, The Dressing Room, the Honorable Marlon Penn, as well as those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Thank you. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6K viewers weekly. It cuts across demographic and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. Supporters may also donate to Cut Deep and the issues it supports through our ATH Mobile 284-440-3234 through checks or cash. Donations will be kept confidential. Send words of encouragement, comments, leads, and social concerns to Cut Deep at our email address. Thank you to our viewing audience and supporters for watching and sharing our content. That is the best support of all. We'll take a quick break and come right back with the action for tonight.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of Cut Deep. If you're just joining, you're right on time. Welcome. It's Season 5, Episode 1. Again, we apologize for the extended break, but we are so happy to be back in studio. I want to welcome back Blossoms Flores as our support sponsor. I want to thank Varieties Apparel, The Dressing Room, the Honorable Marlon Penn, as well as those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6K viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. Supporters may also donate to Cut Deep and the issues it supports through our ATH Mobile 284-440-3234 through checks or cash. Donations will be kept confidential. Send words of encouragement, your comments, leads, and social concerns to Cut Deep email. Thank you to our viewing audience and supporters for watching and sharing our content. That is the best support of all. So as I've mentioned before the break, because I missed you so much and you've been so patient, I have put together a 2-hour exciting information-packed special together for you with some of the BVI's top activists and social media influencers. In studio with me tonight, Sam Julio Henry, Kishma Penn and the man himself, Telecom. It is tea time here in the studio, and we're going straight in. So to begin, I'm just going to have my guests introduce themselves to you, although I think everybody may be very much familiar with them. So I'll start with you, Sam the man.
Well, Cindy, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I feel very privileged to be on stage with Kishma and Telecom. I hope we can have a meaningful discussion on the topic, and we can all agree to disagree.
Thank you. Kishma?
Everybody know me by now, but for those who don't know me, the name is Kishma Penn. Everybody sees my Facebook lives or me out talking wherever. Can approach me as always, and yes, we will keep it civil tonight. Pick us, stop making the lady nervous so that stumbling over her words.
I know.
Good evening, good evening. Well, most people know me as Telecom, but my real name is Karen Pickering, and we're about to get into it.
I like that. We're about to get into it. And we're about to get into it. I know everybody's excited for the platform tonight, for the makeup and the guests that are here. As Sam said, we're going to try to keep it as civil as possible so that we can get the information over to you and have a well-meaning conversation. So I have a list of topics that I would like to touch on tonight. We have a 2-hour special, although I still don't think that we're going to get to some of these. I'm tempted to start out with the COI, but I'm going to start with the Anegada lens, because this is something that keeps popping into my inbox. I keep reading on it. I'm reached out to on this issue quite a bit, as I'm sure each of the local activists that are here, they've been reached out to on this Anegada land issue. Sam, do you want to take this conversation forward? Do you want to start?
Well,
to kind of explain to the public what is going on with the Anegada lands.
I can add some context to it. I've been communicating with Chairman, the brother who's the chairman of the the committee over there. And Cindy, it's real simple. It's a long history of ownership that the Anegada people have not been entitled to. And I think we're at a point now where the government needs to recognize their position. The government needs to recognize their ownership and do what's right by the people of Anegada. They haven't been, many of the people who are grandfathered into the position of ownership haven't been given the rightful deed. And the issue has been scurrying for a long time. Government after government have made promises to address the situation, and they haven't addressed the situation. But it's not a confusing one if you're from Anegada. They have a well-documented situation going back as far as 100+ years.
Right.
So there's no misunderstanding as to who should own what, who should have access to what. The government just needs to come out. And I support the people of Anegada in the manner that we have seen where government was able to enact laws, bend rules, bend corners in the last 2 years. And there's nothing prohibiting them from looking at the situation and simply doing what's needed to satisfy the situation in Anegada.
So what do you think the problem is? Because I got this information again over the weekend, and it seems so cut and dry.
It does.
So what is the problem? Is it that the government does not want to give them the land? Is it
it's
prime land?
It's a lot of foot dragging, Cindy. And if think about things in terms of development, one of our restrictions here in the BVI is we are very hilly. Anegada is the only place that's wide open flat land, which means your expansion possibilities and what you could do are literally endless. The natural terrain of it being that it's limestone, that's an indestructible foundation. So that land, that island itself could ease what we can do what we can do on Tatola and Bajangada. You could easily, they would never need to dry piles. They would never need to do anything to secure a building to carry it 15 stories in the air if they wanted to, and they could do it with simple means. The reality is a lot of things have been dropped for them, like when the major cadastral survey to which most of the rest of the island adheres to was done back, I think it's in the 60s, they did it. Anegada was pretty much left on its own. Like, they didn't even bother to survey Anegada, basically. So people didn't even know realistically where their boundaries were. Government went in there over 10 years ago, set boundaries, set land that was supposed to be given out. And a part of the problem that a lot of people also don't discuss is, in addition to the Anegadians not getting their land, we don't want to even go through the list of how many Tortolians and Vajigada people now have land over Anegada in front of the Anegadians themselves.
Yeah.
And it was done so in terms of political favors, because the land was handed out basically to the same friends and crony business as usual.
Okay, because me myself, I'm trying to catch up with what this Anegada land problem is, and I hope that it's sorted before I get fully caught up. Because how it's sounding to me is like this land is too good for the Anegadians.
Yes.
And that is disgusting to even start to think to process. Because from going through all of this information, that's how I feel.
But it's politics, and what annoys me about it is the Minister for Natural Resources and Libby campaign on it. Mm-hmm. And since he gone in there,
he gone with his piece.
He gone with his piece.
So the piece that he has gotten, he has bought that since he's in office.
Yes.
So who was it purchased from?
What you asking? Who said it was purchased? He's saying it was purchased. We don't know if it was purchased. Do you understand that all the land now is basically sitting in the hands of the crown, even though it don't technically belong to the crown? And the government is supposed to, basically, if there was a lottery to say, this over here is Sam owned, this piece of mine, this piece of Pico owned, this piece is yours. We know what's supposed to be ours, but we can't get it. As in, we can't get the actual transfer, we can't get the actual demarcation points, we can't get the deed, we can't get nothing that would actually put us in a position of real land ownership to be able to develop businesses, to go to the bank to secure financing, to borrow against collateral, to send our children to school. We can't do it. We can't do nothing. So you own something, in theory, a name only, but you don't actually own it.
But you don't own it, because if I'm looking at it, the fact that they're unwilling to give it to you, I'm looking at you as a squatter on government land.
Correct.
And you're not a squatter.
No.
Because the law is very clear. I mean, they're bringing in this other law to confuse the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the law is pretty clear that they should have had their deeds a long time ago. I feel that it's simply that they do not want to give it to them because of maybe economic profitability
I think that's what it's about.
Could be used. That's what I'm saying.
But I just told you, Anegada is a place where we could do, I've said it on more than one occasion, like we argue about where the international airport could be. They could take the 10,000-foot runway easy. They won't have the crosswinds problem. They won't have all of the issues that we have around Before Island. Like I said, Anegada can literally become the Manhattan of the Caribbean because its geological makeup is identical to Manhattan. Only difference is them is granite and we is limestone, and it's two indestructible rocks.
I just want to add to what Kishma was saying, and I think she's absolutely right. But the chairman and his group, the Anegada group, is working on a 5 to 10 point position where they're able to submit ideas, plans, development concept for the utilization of the land. And right now, they're not being given that opportunity to even present those plans. So despite all of what's happening, there's some positive movement from the people of Anegada, and we just need to support their effort.
Yeah.
When you talked about the economic use of the land, I believe, like you believe, there are special interest groups, individuals outside of Anegada who might be having the ears and eyes of the politician, regardless of regardless of what government is in power.
Correct.
Because this is spread across both
more than one
gone back a long
Correct.
time.
Yeah.
So we need to get with the people there, support their cause, look at their plans, and continue to help push and support those.
How do you suggest we do that, Sam? Go
Easy,
ahead.
easy.
Okay. Let me hear from
go
people
ahead.
and then we come back.
And that's my issue with governments altogether, because if Vincent could go and get his just like that, that tells you that the process is not that difficult to be done. Yeah, you're gonna have some pulling and tugging because who believe this is there, but eventually it will get done if they move forward.
Yeah.
Correct.
You understand?
I think one of the things that they're using to hold them up, it doesn't seem like they don't have the money to do what they need to do, the Anegada people, in terms of getting documents notarized and certain documents in place. And from what I've read here, and they've asked for that support, and it doesn't seem like that support is forthcoming. I think it takes about $90,000 or something like that I've seen in their report to get it to all the lands for everybody, to get it to where they need to get it to so that natural resources can give them their deeds. Vincent is holding out on the $90,000 that he said that he would give to them. So I really hate how it feels and how it sounds, but it's just ABC, what they're doing to these people.
The money ain't the problem. The money
Okay,
ain't
no,
the
it's
problem.
not. It's not the problem. He doesn't want to make it
There's
correct.
a bureaucracy that's just blocking people.
I was gonna say, I don't think money is the problem.
No,
And
I'm not saying money is the problem. Money is the problem for them because they do not have $90,000. Vincent can assist them, not forgetting that Vincent is the district rep for Anegada.
right.
And
Okay,
the
outside
minister.
of the minister, he's their district rep and should have their best interests,
Correct,
which is even more disturbing. So they're depending on him to help them financially, and he's locking them up all around.
Here's my next stupid question, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I'm pretty sure there's a notary public and a government payroll. If not, there's a commission of oaths. In most instances, both of them can do the same job, right? Here's the next thing. What I mean $90,000 for? These people are not purchasing land. This isn't a case like Spooner Estate or up in or Nottingham Estate or over Stevens land in Greenland. This is land that they're actually entitled to, what they don't need to pay nothing for.
What the deeds should just be
What
given.
they should not even be paying. The only legal documentation that should actually be required of these people is a notarized signature. And again, I say in a case of land transfers because I've seen it on more than one instance. The government's commission of oaths can sign in these people and certify them signatures.
Absolutely.
So why can't we use the people in land registry and the people in high court registry who have these certifications to get this process moving? Or why can't we use the Attorney General's office, because there must be a liar in there who's a notary public somewhere along the line. So what are you really holding these people up for? Legal fees that they shouldn't be paying?
It's
That
just
they shouldn't even be bothering to jump
Yeah,
over.
whatever they can hold them up on, they're holding them up on. Based on what I could see here, it's just it's really,
This isn't like Spooners. Most of the plots sold between $3,000 to $9,000. These people don't have to fork over money to then get this land.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a transfer. What you need me to pay $90,000 legal fees, because in a transfer the only real thing that need to happen money-wise is a certification that I say I name Kishmapen and I bring documents to prove that I'm Kishmapen. And again, the government has notary publics and commission of oaths and people who could stand to do these things.
And at the end of the day, Kishma, it also comes down to this thing that we love, where the premier himself talks about, and Claude talks about, the small community and how we live, and if it's a sort of thing that papers were lost during the hurricane and so forth, we all know each other. We know whether you were there for 10 years or not. We know if you're, so it's just, it really hurts me because the VIP campaign so much on change. Sam, it's gonna come every time. So much on change and offered so much change, and they, I think they're at the bottom of the worst.
It's politics. It's just politics.
It's painful
once
to
you
watch.
Once you see there's no logical reason behind why something cannot happen in politics, it's politics. Just I tell you, Vincent ain't had a piece before he went in.
But he got one now.
All of a sudden he have a piece less than 4 years time.
He got one now.
Now he have a piece. So what is
I ain't
stopping
gonna call
him?
the name, but there's a dynasty family that own hundreds of acres over there when the people them over there can't get them land. I ain't gonna say who it is, But this is what we're dealing with. This is what I tell you. It's beyond just that the government not helping the people. They're still turning around and using that Anegada land and giving it away the same way they gave away Wikomski back in the 70s. They gave it to them friends.
That's exactly
and so now
what
they're trying
happening.
to take that Anegada land and do exactly the same thing to it.
That's
And
exactly
give it
what
to them
happening.
friends, because this dynasty name ain't got no ties to Anegada. And part of Anegada, that whole thing that governing Anegada is you gotta be able to say how you're tied to Anegada. Them ain't got none, but them own a chunk of it over there.
Why y'all always trying to get me killed? Because you're not going over Anegada. I need to understand what's going on, because this is
Yeah,
You ain't got no-
how can we, and this is the conversation, Sam, that I had this morning when we were on Tola Radio, where we talk about colonialism, but to me, the mindset is the problem.
No, it's
How
called-
can you treat
no,
your
it's-
own
no,
people
it's-
like this?
Cindy, is effective colonialism, because the effective way in which to come, if you really study history and you really study economics and you really study the economics of slavery, it's effective colonialism, because when you're effective, you put the slaves to watch the slaves. So that is what we have. People who are watching, people who are, in fact, I make the argument all the time, we have a $500 million economy. And our social services and our infrastructure does not reflect that. And the people in which who make the decisions that have to do with the actual progressive movement of the country are in fact us. And we are being dominated by us and taken advantage of by us. And then turn wrong and disadvantage and disenfranchise by not somebody outside and not an outside entity, but us. Which to me is the funniest argument around the COI. I help you swing it in now. They're worried about the colonialists outside, but how you ain't worried about the 13 colonialists that you have right now?
But this is what I was telling Sam this morning.
How you ain't
and
worried
it
about
hurts
them?
more to me. I don't know about anybody
This is
else.
why I tell
It
people,
hurts more.
And this is, I am in nowhere racist, but I say to people all the time, if in fact I become the victim of prejudice and racism by an outsider and by a person of Caucasian descent, I expect that. I do not expect my countrymen to do me that.
Exactly, that's why I
So
said, and it hurts more. Yes,
it
correct.
hurts more. I expect to get screwed that way. I do not expect that my own would do me that.
Yeah.
So when my own does me that, when my own denies me a scholarship, when my own denies me training leave, when my own denies me a promotion, when my own denies me increments, it hurts way more. If I get denied these things by an outside entity, I expect that, because I expect that you're going to be looking for yourself. Me expect you to not, and this is the problem. They're afraid of letting go power because they feel that empowering the people will endanger them. But if you empower the people, you have the people them loyalty forever.
That's what they don't understand.
If you don't empower the people them, then you create chaos and confusion and you create rebels. Because eventually the people will empower themselves without you. And when them don't need you, where are you?
Right.
Where are you?
Sam, how can we help the people of Anegada?
We need to exercise, and we need to continue to spread their message. Again, they're working on some plans. They're working on some ideas to continue to bring the issues to the forefront. Because the more you highlight the issues, what Kishma is saying is correct. You and I could sit and analyze all day long, and we know exactly what the root cause of these problems are. But who needs to make the difference and who needs to affect change are not paying attention. Maybe they don't know. Some of them know. They willfully not following. When the majority of the people understand the real cause of the issue, then they must take note. So we have to continue to spread that message. We can have...
So if you had to speak to the public right now on behalf of Anegada, what would you say?
I would say reach out to the community. There's an organization out there for land positioning. Reach out to the chairman. He has a documented history of their concern and the issues that they are facing in Anegada. And we have the ideas and the solution to fix those problems. And it's as simple as Kisma just said, a stroke of a pen. all what Vincent and others are telling us that can't happen is a folly. It can happen overnight. We have seen where laws were put in place after a meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By the next day, we have it on the books. So it's just a matter of will. It's a matter of highlighting the situation. So we have to continue to spread the message that the people of Anegada have for the rest of the BVI to support that. And I always say, when somebody in West End is being affected and you live in East End, East End should always take note. Don't just say it's a West End problem. It's not a West End problem. It's a BVI
but
problem.
you know how we are out in the East. We're going to take on the whole country problem.
Yeah, I actually think that's the most important thing of what you're saying. And the reality is, we be on the point of talking now. And we have to take...
Well, I've been there. You know me already. I've talked about shutting down the House of Assembly and call extra police. We are on the point of talking, and the people of the BVI literally need to pick one issue and drive it down them throat until they make a change.
I agree.
And whether it be the Anegada issue, it doesn't matter. We are beyond the point of sitting down in these closed room forums and doing this, because talk is cheap and talk ain't getting us nowhere. And we are to the point now where we need to make our elected officials understand that you in position because we allow you to be, not you in there to continue to continuously dominate us and we have no say whatsoever. Like, we, the people of the BVI, actually need to start mad. Like I tell people, it's not a matter of inciting riot, it's a matter of drawing a line and being like this. You see, this is why I like the younger generation between the ages or between 20 and 30, we call them that cancel generation that believe in that cancel culture. Like, we literally need to cancel the government power to the point of saying we're not accepting this behavior no more. We know it's wrong, we know it's illegal. We don't care that this is how you've run your government for 50 plus years. We don't care. It's time for a change, and it's not time to talk about change anymore.
But this is the issue though, right? And this is why I don't like. We can all sit down and we can say, listen, we're not coming out of this meeting until we get 9 out of 10 of them. Not 1 out of 10, not 5, 9 out of 10. Let me say, for instance, some days ago, the teacher them like they were going to strike, right? If you ask me, all know the teacher them should have been on strike.
I agree.
All know the teacher them should have been on strike.
Even open.
I tell you about what will happen is the politician will come in a meeting and throw a little sweet water.
And give them $300.
And then
I'm sorry,
everybody forget what was going on. Then that's what we don't like. No. You have to stand firm.
Yeah.
If you ain't agreeing to these terms, go and come again.
Yeah, we ready.
Yes, you got to go and come again.
We ready, and we never... Here's a problem. We never hold the government and excuse these proverbial words by the balls until them actually give the people them what they want. We never do it.
No.
We only talk about it. We only talk about, oh, them full of this, and oh, I ain't want to hear here, and oh, I ain't want to hear that.
Correct.
But it never goes beyond that point. And it's issue after issue after issue after issue. And I agree with Kareem with the foolishness that been happening to the school in the mountain. It's like the teachers, I guess I'm so frustrated that every September they forget the sweet lies that they tell them. Because in 2019, them tell them furniture was on the dock. In 2020, them tell them, 2019 furniture was on the dock for the L-shaped building. It had to be cleared. 2020, COVID happened in the way it happened.
So the furniture was still on the dock?
School wasn't going to open in September anyways because they didn't know what it is.
So where the furniture
2021 now, you have furniture now on its way from Trinidad, right?
It's not on the dock? Waiting to come off the dock?
No.
Oh.
So my question is, what happened in 2019? You never cleared the one off the dock. Somebody went with it. The people from ports went with it. The manufacturer sent back and say, you want back your thing because your check bounced.
You know what happened?
And then
COVID went with it.
Okay. And then what happened? And then what happened to the ones them that come and the ones them that come in from Trinidad? It's the same thing.
So it don't have furniture in the school?
So,
Cindy, please to go to the school to
Oh, I pulled out my child.
Eh?
I pulled my child out. You see, because I tell you, I'm an action person. I don't have time for conversation.
so in the case,
I'm an action person. So they don't have any furniture in the school because I thought the school opened with furniture. I'm not even joking.
First off, the big announcement that they made about them buying furniture, I got from official heads that there was only 10 classrooms worth of furniture being bought. And once again, a lie was being told to the general public to pacify the general public. My issue with the furniture in the school more than anything else, the thing that really gets to me is no classroom in that L-shaped building doesn't have a view of the housing complex that we're building right now. None. There's no place in that L-shaped building that you could sit, that when you look out the windows into the courtyard, you can look straight across at that hill and see where the government is dumping its money. And now while we talk about what things are important and this and that, right? You have housing for people who don't know how to read and write. That's what you're building. Housing for people in the future who wouldn't know how to read and write. Housing for people who wouldn't know how to run their businesses. You're talking about things like building 2 Olympic-sized swimming pool because you produce 1 Olympic swimmer in over how many years we sending people to the Olympics now, right? Nearly 50 years we sending people
Well, we
to
know
the
that's
Olympics.
just a conversation.
But no, Cindy, even if it's just a conversation, the simple fact that you could think to say you're going to go build 2 and you can't put furniture in the school or get the school open
Well, they said
all day.
they said they were opening 2 medical schools.
No, but that's the thing. They,
Where's the first
they
one?
always feed us that nonsense. And then whenever they feed it to us, and I really don't understand, like, people, what I really be paying attention to, like, them little sweet word can't move me, you know.
Some of them, they don't even bother to fix them properly.
Them sweet word cannot move me.
I read an article last week or week before where they say, oh, money has been sapped for civil servants increments. Now, if you work government, you know money they get sapped one way. When they run it out, when the year about to end and them see them got money leave over, they sap the money over to the next year. So here's my question with this money that them sap. Is it last year money that you sap to pay us this year, or you don't start to sap this year money with the hope to pay
all
the
of
increments next year?
All of that
and
is politics.
Civil servants are people who have worked long enough and had enough to understand how the system works. The people outside of government could buy that lie. We who don't work in there know
It's
how
true,
it works.
it's true.
And we know how the system
It's
works.
true.
And we know that
Well,
when
we don't buy it.
Huh?
We don't buy it. You guys are the ones that buy it.
Who's you
because
guys?
you guys, the
civil
civil servants,
servants.
you're
Not
civil
me.
servants.
Not
the
me.
point is you're civil servants. I'm saying you guys buy it because
Not me.
you're the ones who still don't get up and say anything.
No, but
or so you guys buy it. We
I
good.
keep-
We good. Whether you guys get increment or not, we out here good. So it's y'all buying it.
I keep telling the people, I keep telling the civil servants, because y'all are the biggest block of voters in the entire
Correct.
territory. Do what you need to do with them, because at the end of the day, none of them 13 of the 5 who sitting down in cabinet posts in terms of ministerial posts, none of them could fire you. As a civil servant, you report to the governor and the deputy governor. None of those people could send you home. But it's the fear of what they can do or what people think they can do is why they got them. None of them don't threaten me, but none of them can send me home. If they could, they would.
But watch at this, right? My issue with government is wasting money on things that can be pushed back and deal with. Okay, let me say, for instance, right? You come in, you meet a set of issues. Deal with those issues. You still get vote back in.
Yep.
Deal with those
And yeah, at
issues.
least do what you were voted in on.
You
Yes.
still, if Andrew them had go and fix all the school them,
Every last one.
that would have been such a power move.
Yep.
But instead, you know what he do? He play politics. He fixed the L-shaped building noon to say, well, I'm making moves and or work on that end.
No, but and let's be honest, you can't give him credit for that, because that plan as it is right now and how it went down was already lined up by the NDP.
Let's take a little quick break.
Some code skating, some going on there, my God.
Let's take a quick break on that. Hold that. We're coming right back to that, and we're gonna go from that into the COI because it's gonna flush into other to each other. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
Sonny.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must stop cut fun topic.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man forget you.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of Cut Deep. If you're just joining us, you're almost right on time. It's season 5, episode 1. We are so happy to be back in studio. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florist as our support sponsor. I want to thank Varieties Apparel, the Dressing Room, the Honorable Marlon Penn, as well as those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6K viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. I'm going to jump right back into it. When we went on the break, we were talking about the schools, and that's on my list of things, and we can cover it now because I want to cover the school as much as possible, it being underfunded, the overrunning projects that could have gone into schools, and the molding problem that we're facing with the schools. I know a couple schools were out last week. I know the community doesn't know this, but our schools are just in disarray, and today is the 5th of October.
Look, after I done say this, I want you to elaborate on something for me, right? I ain't seen no problem wrong with Fishby Road other than it was flood sometime, right? So we take $1.7 million to go do Fishby Road. When we driving on Fishby Road, the same how it is for years. They could have waited another 2 years. Yeah. Why not take that $1.7 million and put it into the schools? Not only the schools need doing, but that's one of the most important things right now. None of them, any of them have kids, will not want them children going to Morley schools. You don't want your child going to a Morley school, so why not fix the school? Something we say broke down all the schools, you know. Fix them, and I'm talking about no $100,000 contract to install a door, because we know that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Fix the schools with sense. And none of them would want the children going to Morley schools. The youths are the future.
They don't care.
They do not care.
They do not care.
They don't.
The message...
They play politics with the youth them.
The message that they send into the young people, which is going to come back, and we who in this age, we're getting older. Me and you who in this age, Cindy and Sam who are a little bit older, we gonna feel it. 20 years from now, when those children are criminals, because that's where they're going to go. 20
years from now, you say?
Yeah, well, when they had co-criminals,
No.
When they not even then,
Listen,
10 years, 5 years, when there's a problem.
We are on that problem right now.
Is we going to feel it? Is we going to feel it?
We feeling it right now.
Is we are the ones who are going to feel like the drawbacks with the schools and everything like that. My biggest problem to me is that the priority of government in every regard seems to be in the absolute worst place. You're not studying your civil service, who actually making you look like people. You're not studying your education system at all. You're not studying your healthcare system. You're not and then at the end of the day, like I keep saying, we spending $500 million every year. Where is the money going? We don't have the social services, and we don't have the infrastructure to back it up.
The reason government after government after government priority mix to us, the priorities mix up, you know, but they have their agenda. They don't this is what annoys me. They really do not care about the people, because if they did, they would have put the money where it goes. In my video sometime, I posted a video maybe 2 weeks ago. I talk about government going to go fix road after road after road because they could eat the most money there.
Yeah.
A week later, what they did, they make me look like a fortune teller. A week later, them give out a $1.7 million contract.
They will always jump on and speaking from my insider knowledge in public works. And I tell people, all I ever see public works being in the 20 plus years of working there, right, is a vessel in which the government they use to funnel the money literally out through the back door of Treasury, because I've seen it through the petty contract system, through the major contract system, the way in which them award the contracts. This is why the COI got we under the press right now, trying to figure out how we just do things. And when I first started saying it on my lies, people came and tell me I telling lies and I lying on people. But we seen it and we hearing the figures and we hearing these things come out over and over and over again. They do not care. They literally do not care. If there is no benefit from them and there's nothing for them to gain, they don't even look at the school as an entity in which them could write a $10 billion contract, and then they don't care. They don't. They do not care.
They literally play politics with everything, and it's annoying.
They don't care to the point where I keep asking the questions. How can the Ministry of Education and its teachers, and this is no disrespect to the teachers, especially the ones at high school level, primary school not so much, but high school level, guarantee me that every one of our farms is on par with the rest of the Caribbean who also following the CXC curriculum? How? How can you guarantee me more students have been going to school half day since 2017? We had one semester of full day school. And then by the time the second semester started, COVID happened. And our students have been going to school half day and online. How will you guarantee me? And they keep trying to tell us that our students are on par. You know when we're going to know how far behind them is? When my son class goes set CXC, because that's the class that have been going to school half day from farm 1 straight to 5th farm. So we're going to see when they set CXC if they're where they're supposed to be, if they're really where they're supposed to be.
Haven't we been lowering the standard of learning every single
every
few years? So what do you think they'll do when they get to that point? They lower it again. So
yeah, but you lower it in your territory, right?
Yeah, in our territory.
You lower it in your territory, but when you got to go sit an exam against people in Jamaica, people in Trinidad, people in Barbados, people in Antigua, people in all them places, tell me where you're going. Wait, where will you? Because we have always
Kishma, we don't have to go and sit an exam. We could take a look at the COI and the people that we've chosen to lead us and hear what they pump out of their mouths.
We know.
Then begin to worry, because if that's what they think is bright and educated and leadership, what do you think they're gonna put for you and my child to come through school?
Yeah, it speaks.
What platform do you think they're gonna be learning on?
It speaks. My biggest problem with
you worry about an exam?
My biggest problem with the COI is every single time these guys get catch, we can't even get by. Pickle my bad, Sam my bad, Cindy my bad. We do the wrong thing.
I'm sticking to the point.
What? Jesus Christ! Then they dig down them heels about them adamants. Like for instance, and
but Sam don't think so.
I know a lot of people gonna get upset with me, and I'm gonna speak about this even more. Honestly, the Virgin Islands Party, or especially the women of the BVI, a huge apology for Vincent's testimony, and Vincent himself owes an apology. And no, I didn't listen to you. I cancel.
Well, I've been saying it anyway.
I cancel Heritage.
Don't say that on this street. Don't say that on
I don't be listening to Heritage. And further to that, they also he owes, if he is not going to apologize, he's definitely one. I don't ever jump on your bandwagon that when you say this person needs to resign, but he needs to resign. Because when you can, and I saw Pickle Marth answer to this, when you can relegate something as serious as rape as a mistake, it says to me that one, you also have rapist culture in your mind, whether you want to admit it, yes or no. And two, you have no sensitivity towards women and their plight. And women in the BVI, women in the BVI are greatly marginalized.
Correct, and not cutting you off, but even in that week, where we were dealing with that young lady. She's of our soil.
Yes.
That went missing.
Yes.
And you know, women don't just go missing.
Yeah.
That is why the attack, that was a lot of the aggression as well, because here, this matter is life. And here you're sitting as if, oh, rape, I mean, the commissioner and Bilal had to look at him like, they were absolutely disgusted, and they were like, you're talking about his character? And Bilal had to say, you know that rape is a violent crime, right?
Yeah, you had to pull him up. And then he's like, oh, I know him. I went to school. I don't care. I got nice it up right now. Me care where you went, with who you went, and how you went. Rape should never in any language be condoned, and that there's a problem.
Listen.
There's a problem with the BVI where there's a culture, and a lot of men are guilty of this. They feel as though women are property and women are never entitled to tell them no. In the simple fact that there's so many statutory rape cases going on here in the BVI, because people only look at rape in terms of the violent rape. They don't pay attention to the statutory rape. They don't pay attention to the office rape that has happened, not necessarily by violence. So you want this job, you better sleep with me, because that's rape too. They don't pay attention to the rape that happened here when guys take girls out on roads and carry them someplace where it's night. You don't know how many tons he take. You have no idea where you is.
But Kishma, all of that is violent rape.
And no, he might not necessarily go hold you down, but you might commit to giving him just so
you don't have a choice because you don't want to be hurt.
But he's taking away your choice. He's taking away your choice, so it's still rape. And it's a culture that is very. I heard a man saying the other day, a gentleman, and I was so ashamed of this man. Every man in Tatola got 4 women. His wife, he saw the thing where he the screw in the school girl. And the simple fact that the school girl, even though she is the last person on the list,
she's on the list.
She shouldn't even make the list because the majority of school girls are under the age of 16. So the simple fact that a grown man could say every BVI man, or most BVI men, because that's what he say every, and then he turn around and say most BVI men got 4 women. Their wife, the side thing, the thing by them the screw, and the school girl.
He said out loud? No, man.
You're marginalizing women. And the thing that I keep trying to bring home to men all the time, y'all forget that y'all are somebody is your mother. You have
sisters,
an aunt.
Aunts,
Somebody is your sister.
daughters.
Somebody is your daughter. Somebody is your sister. Somebody is
we all special until it gets on your doorstep.
No, but what really, like, when you really sit down, right, and you try to wrap your head around this, the members of cabinet is Natalio, Kevin, Kai, Vincent,
and 5 of them who in office, and what's your name? Sherry, and I forget who the next one is, because the 7 of them make up cabinet.
No, just the major 5.
Just the 5
not
ministers.
Not them one that they break out with junior minister.
The cabinet. They're the decision makers.
Kevin, Kai, Andrew, Natalio, and Vincent. I know Vincent got daughter, but the other 4.
He has 2. He has only daughters.
All 5 of them have daughters.
Yes.
And think, and they sat down in a meeting and agreed to grant a rapist.
Or thinking, because apparently it's that they didn't grant it, but they were thinking. The simple fact that the man application reached that far is too much, as far as I concerned. It's too much. It should have been an automatic as soon as this. It should have been too much. And then for Vincent to condone it by saying, all his family live here. Me care. Them could have lived, all of them could have been skeleton for all I concern. He don't belong here.
But that's the thing. If it were one away,
yes.
If it were one away, we won't get option.
No.
We'll never get option if it were one away. But
especially since so many of us BVI landlords now, let's get real. So many of us BVI landlords are born in St. Thomas and Puerto Rico now, where we are actually belongers. Therefore, we are entitled to get deported from this country depending on what it is we do, because this is not our actual home, right? If one of us who are of that type of mixed heritage had done that, you think they would gain us any kind of free scape or any kind of nothing?
They wouldn't. And that's crazy when I sit down and try to wrap my head around that, like.
And then you justify, you have 2 daughters and you have a wife. And you try to justify that to the people of the BVI, to the commissioner inquiry. I know this fellow. I went to school with him. He's known
You
personally
Well,
to me.
not the rapist. He was talking about the other person because the
Wrap-
rapist is
wrap-
much
wrap
younger
your
than
head
you.
around that. You wrap your head around that.
But going back to your point, Kishma, and I spoke about it this morning on Heritage Show. I've talked about it on my Facebook page, Vincent, and you've taken it a little further. The administration owes the women
Yes,
and the girls.
they owe
One
the
second,
women.
the women and the girls of this territory
An apology.
An apology.
Them do press conference for everything else. They
Correct.
might need to do a press conference.
Well,
for
that's
that
what I
too.
had need to do a
Yes.
press conference for. Instead, I hate to say because Don is my cousin, my very close cousin, both of us.
Halloween.
And no, both of us, we come out the same.
Same stuff.
That's
Same
the
exact stuff.
great grandmother. Okay. I was, there are lawyers who support Dawn and they can support her from that legal perspective. But as a woman,
I
you
was
allowed
disappointed.
yourself to be used as a tool.
I was disappointed.
Instead of these guys get up and do the
What
right
they're
thing by
supposed to do.
apologizing
Yeah.
for that position that they took, they put the Attorney General, who just happens to be a woman, and she should have used her platform a little different.
Yep.
To be used as a tool to create distraction.
That's true.
If I have a case, I'm a lawyer, a case is going on, right? And I'm asking you questions and you're saying, no, I wasn't over there and this is how this works. So then if I slip in something, I say to you and say, well, you're saying this, but this proves that you're not following this. How is that showing how is that showing evidence that, why are you supposed to know all the evidence that they're going to come in? If you say something is something and you stand by it. So if I throw something in, that shouldn't sidestep you.
I was disappointed when I read the response. For me, the biggest thing is because like you said, and I went back and I watched it. No, they didn't say the people were granted status. Rhodes' point was, how can something as sacred as citizenship be taught to be, this person be awarded this after committing a violent crime?
Yeah.
And so for me, like you say, as a woman, right? As a woman, she let me down. As an EastEnder,
they would have had to give me my walking papers. I was resigning. I would have never put that out.
As an EastEnder, because we is warriors and we don't never go down without a fight. Lord, she let me down at that count too. And for somebody out of my bloodline again and a close family member, I look at it and I say, well, Jesus, all of them keep falling. All of them keep falling. I don't understand. None of them don't stand for nothing.
I want to give Sam an opportunity to chime in on this. I want to know. I think I know where he stands.
I love the conversation
because we've had. But I want you a part of this conversation. I'm going to ask Kishma to not give you her back so much because I don't want you to have a pass. I would like to hear your position on this, but I'm going to take a quick break and come right back.
The win.
What in the hell
I'm freaking out.
Is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of Cut Deep. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's season 5, episode 1. I want to welcome back Blossoms Flores as our support sponsor. I want to thank Varieties Apparel, The Dressing Room, the Honorable Mellon Pen, as well as those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Back to our conversation. We took a little break right there on the position of the Honorable Vincent Whitley in the COI just last week as it relates to belongership status for convicted criminals. I wanted to get Honorable Sam Julio Henry's position on this.
But I don't have a position. I support the panel I personally would not have taken the opportunity. I think the Attorney General in the room raised the concern because at that point, that's when the different issues and the concerns would come up. So it came up and he raised the concern. I think, like what Pico said, at that time, at that moment, I would have probably dismissed after being privy to all of the issues, and it could be a possible violation of the law for granting any type of fast track citizenship. I would have just tossed it to the side, not just defer it, but completely remove it from.
It was on the table for discussion, and then it was deferred to come back. Totally.
I would have
unnecessary.
tossed it out and say you can't come back to apply again. Period.
What do you think about the Attorney General's position?
Which one?
Were you able to read her letter?
The response to, I think she has a point. I think she has a right to address the concern. I think personally, after looking at the COI for so many weeks, I became understanding that before you go in front of the commission, you're given what they call criticism. Those criticism outline the area of interest they're going to be going into.
So do you not think that, so if the area is belonger status, right, and the issuance of those, and they would have told him that they're going to deal with the fast track, right? Why would I need to tell you every single thing that I'm going to tell? You should know that I am going to cover anything that may have been a possible breach of those. Why I have to give you every single thing? I don't think he was sidelined.
Only House Assembly do that.
Yeah, I don't think he was blindsided. I don't think he should have known that would come up.
Exactly.
I would have think it would come up if I was the minister.
Cindy, let's take it a step further. We all know where legal matters are concerned. Both sides always have the same evidence. So if I am coming to you, especially in terms of criminal cases and things like that, if the docket is this big with all the evidence, both the prosecution side and the defense side have the same amount of evidence, therefore you are given equal opportunity to examine the very concerns that they are going to ask you. It is never a case of this, especially with the British legal system. This is in the United States where you could drop evidence day of in court. You can't do that here. And even though the COI is not a formal court, they still have to adhere to a lot of what we do in terms of a formal court.
Kishma, what I'm saying,
so like Vincent didn't have forehand knowledge. He knew that fast tracking was a problem, even if they may not have given him, which, and I highly doubt that to be the truth. I'm pretty sure they highlighted whatever concern, because Rowan always telling you, go to the bundle, look at page so-and-so, paragraph such and such, to any question that he asks you, right? So I am pretty sure, as with always, because this is what I have seen based on the behavior of all of our elected officials time and time again. Every one of the elected officials, them look like them don't read the bundles before they go to court.
It shows you, because we continue to talk about when they go to the House of Assembly, they are never prepared. They don't do the research.
They don't read the bundles. So they therefore
of the people's money.
They therefore do not know when the man start asking questions about certain things. It's based on Drexel testimony. I could see he read he bundle. Based on some
Drexel is the perfect example of what you should look like when you go before somebody for questioning.
Based on some of the PSAs and some of the others, they read their bundle, but the actual elected officials, when they go there,
because they don't care, the law is not for them. They are above the law, it's not for them. How dare you question them?
The law. Correct.
How dare you?
But watch this now, though. Are you looking at it as in? Okay, them went through this procedure. Are you looking at it as in, if it weren't for the COI, we would have never known that?
Okay then.
So how much other things that we don't know about?
We need the whole list.
Okay.
How much other things we know about?
We need the entire list.
Imagine how much things gone under the table.
Well, listen, I've been blowing the whistle about what I know. contract-wise and infrastructure-wise and white is them
That's what
doing
I'm telling
wrong,
you.
right? You blow the whistle and the ends to what you know. But like we say, some of we don't work in some of them industries, so we can't begin to expose what is going on in
Well,
these
a lot
places,
what the COI
right?
is doing
What
is because a lot
correct.
of what they are saying, we know.
That's true. We
Right.
knew.
The
We
fact
knew.
that but we do it in,
They just give me
we
the proof.
hear
Them
this.
bring the proof.
They bring the solid evidence that what you guys are hearing is actually the fact. And plus, here's the damn cherry on top.
Yeah.
But it's
It's worse than you thought.
Yeah.
It's just like the fishers in the farmers list. When you see people name on the list, you like, this man ain't fisher.
And this person ain't no farmer.
Got one lemongrass tree in the backyard.
I tell you.
But when what the lady name, what her position is?
Sonia Webster, the Auditor General.
She actually now went looking for these farms.
Yeah.
She went looking for these farms and she said,
I couldn't find anything.
2 pot. Nobody ain't got nothing, and yet still I'm
They
still
ain't got a
there.
boat, no fish pot, nothing.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we hang about it all the time, but the COI now bring the actual proof.
And I would reiterate this point. There are a lot of people who feel very offended, as they say, the colonizers is who conducting the COI. Oh, we should be left alone and be careful what recommendations you make because we are this people, we are that people. I would say this, and I don't care who get vexed with me. You know what our governments of the Virgin Islands have shown me? That we cannot govern.
It's true.
Well, we can't.
We cannot govern.
It's true.
And whether we want to admit it, yes or no, there are a lot of us who like to say, oh, we have a long history of governance. A history of 70 years of governance can't count against a country who done fall 3-4 times and rebuild itself 3-4 times because they've governed for 300-400 years. All 70 years cannot come up, whether we like them as colonizers, yes or no, against the UK, who has rebuilt their economic system how many times? Rebuilt their government how many times?
But
Because
Kishma,
they've gone through the phase and we have run government in a system, or particular government in our particular system is failing us because they're the rules and they're the way in which the rules are enforced. And whether we like it or we don't like it, both parties are guilty of the crooked way in which we run politics here in the BVI. And none have ever done right by the people. Some do a little better by the people than others. But the majority of them have not run right by the people. And this particular administration belonging to this particular government, I'm not surprised that them only for themselves, because I don't care who get vexed with me, but the history of the Virgin Islands Party administration has always been to look out for their friends and family, to the behest in the killing of the rest of the people of the BVI. That is why we're paying so much money in rent right now on Wickhamski for government offices. That is why we still don't have proper infrastructure. That is why and I will say this, that is why we got Speaker of the House, the thought he could have taken up the government money and use it for all kind of frivolous lawsuits, because that is the history of that party. That's what they do. They squander the money, they act as though the government coffers or their actual personal dollars. And the only way you could ever get them from them is literally by a whole bunch of, I ain't gonna say what, kissing, and a whole bunch of sucking up. That's how you ever get things done with them.
What I want to say, Kishma, though, I feel like, yes, they have 400 years. We have 70. And quite often you hear that thing where you don't need to reinvent the wheel, okay? But I feel like you can't govern yourself or even begin to start to think on how to govern yourself when you yourself put laws in place that you don't intend to stand by.
Simple.
How is it going to work? Our institutions, I don't even want to say we're on our knees, we're on our face, flat out. Our institutions have been so abused, misused, like we just have nothing to stand on. And people think that, one second, and people think that, you know, people like me or you feel like, oh, we want the UK to take over. I don't want the UK in here, and I'm going to tell them, I'm going to tell them really clear that is not what I want. So don't even think about trying it, because if you understand who I am, I'm not even out of the East. I out of Long Look. Our freedom was won in Long Look. So that is not even the page that I'm on, just in case anybody think that's a platform, that my platform is one they want to use to affect my people in a negative way. I'm not even going there. What I'm saying though, it is hurtful to me as a Virgin Islander that can trace my roots back to forever to watch the COI not tear us apart, but put these things on the table that we in ourselves should have been able to fix, curtail, not allow to happen. Govern ourselves. That's what it means. Govern yourself, where you can take care of yourself and nobody else has to come in and say, look, you're taking advantage of your people. We're gonna show your people what how are you telling me you care about me? This is what you're doing to me. You cannot now come and talk to me about the colonializers or white people or any people. When I'm looking at you in your face and I'm saying your foot is in my throat.
Exactly.
This foot isn't in my throat. Your foot is in my throat. Can you take it out so I can breathe?
Yeah.
So what are you telling me about anybody else? It's hurtful to us as Virgin Islanders to watch the COI go down in our face like this. Everything that our forefathers have worked for, these guys need lynching, if you ask me. And I'm ready and willing.
Cindy, I personally, and I keep saying it, right? I don't think anybody is going to understand the seriousness of what has happened here and how bad things are, because literally every government has only ever followed the precedents that was set from the very early. The entire history of the BVI is an old boy and an old girls club. And you only ever get anything do so long as you don't piss off the old boys and the old girls club. Hold on, the reason that we have, I ain't gonna call them name, but we got one. And the reason that all of these boards exist, these statutory bodies, these committees, these this and that things that computers should have replaced these things with years ago, is the way in which we still maintain control through the old boys in the old girls club. Like, to this day, why do we have the Public Service Commission being one of the sole bodies that determining whether or not somebody should be hired for a job? Why isn't there a judging matrix that is done by a computer to literally, because they're looking at people in terms of, I could give he a job, I know he catch my for the island woman mean she no job. Sydney, I know she you know how and that's how it is. You have a scholarship committee that's still looking at people's last name and determining whether or not these people should be given scholarships. You have different committees that's still in place specifically to control. And the reason, and here's something that all of us as BVI landlords have to admit to ourselves. The majority of us allow the corruption in this country to run the way that it did because all of us was hoping to get a little piece out of it, failing to realize the system was never built for the entire BVI to profit, but only, again, the same dynasties that profited from it in the first place. That's all it was ever built for.
Only one correction I want to make.
Sure.
Being that I sit on a scholarship committee, that system doesn't function right now. It hasn't been functioning in 2 years. We have a grading system. We have an interview process.
So you're trying to change things up.
Every child or every person that applies for a scholarship go through a vetting process, and it's the same for everybody. And we have had a few persons with recognizable family names who have been denied scholarship. So just a slight correction.
It's good to know that you're trying to make improvements there.
It was part of the mentality. So Kishma's not off.
She's not.
I'm simply saying that since I've been on it and been part of the whole new process, I personally have been trying to push the ministry and the government to start looking at other areas, looking at others to give scholarship to, not just focus on academic positions, but apprenticeship programs, looking at schools that can offer 1 year, 2 year programs for some of our youths on the corner. So yes, that process did exist, but
of course it
right
did.
now,
I love to hear that, Sam.
Right now,
congratulations on that.
Right now, that's not the case.
But it goes back to the same thing I said some time back, where I say we got to get rid of the puppet master them.
Yep.
It's the same puppet master them, just picking different puppets. You see this thing where we allowing them to pick who they want to run, That's the issue. We need to craft our own government. When we can get
people
a bars,
need to put their government
we need to
forward.
get a bars
It's time.
and craft our own government.
You see, look at that smug
we have
smile
some
over there.
exceptional people
Yep.
who don't take nonsense and grounds out for the BVI.
Yeah, but you know what needs to happen, Kareem, and we've had this conversation. You need to find those people and they need to be supported because quite often they are afraid to step up based on.
Yeah,
but
because we vote for popularity.
Yeah, that's what we vote for.
How are we such lunatics to put the future of our country in the hands of the popular people and not the people that are going to make the best decision for them? How are we such lunatics to do so?
Boss, and we know when we're going to school, right? The popular people, them were dumb as a box of rocks. So you technically take the same people.
That's not true. I was popular and I was not dumb as a rock.
Carry my saying why I say again. She pretended like she know what time it is. Me, you went BBI high, correct?
Yeah.
I went BBI high too.
All right. Most of the popular, look like that she want me fix it so she could get it. Right? Most of the popular people when I was going to school were dumb as a box of rocks. You were dumb as a box of rocks. You barely scraped through high school. You didn't went nowhere to college. Or if you went college, it's the same thing. You didn't graduate cum laude. You didn't graduate magna cum laude. You didn't graduate any of those. You graduate, thank you, Lord, you're out of the people in place, and then now
but those are the richest people,
and now
running all the business.
Now you literally want to tell. Now you literally want to tell me because you still don't know 2 + 2 = 4. You still think it's 8 and 10, and now you run in the country. You still the same out of touch with reality as you were in high school as you are now. I mean, like there is. Even some of the little critical decisions that they made to me made no sense. Like, and I'm not picking on anybody, but prime example, Sherry was a much better educator, advocator than Shawane ever was. Shawane was advocating for everything else besides education more before he get in government.
You sure you want to call his name?
No,
that there.
I said no. He was
Lord
he was advocating for everything else besides education. Right? If you really look at all the things that he was making noise for, he was advocating for everything else besides education. Sherry was always education, 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 education. When she then become the Minister of Education, I said, well, I don't wait and see this Ang Fang and roll in the Ang Fang and roll when your Minister of Education stood up with his chest puffed up. I can't walk to schools. Well, brother, what we paying you for? What are we paying you for?
Listen to me.
What are we paying you for? You are the minister. You are the Minister of Education. You don't have a single thing done in that ministry doing that is so pressing that you could not take the last 3 weeks of your summer to walk them schools. He could have hit 5 schools every day. We have 27 public primary schools in the entire territory amongst all 4 islands. One not functioning, which is Isabella Morris, right?
Kishma, these guys go too. These guys.
You telling me you couldn't take 3 weeks to pass these 3 weeks? You gotta do a school a day, and that's 26 days.
He had to go to Olympics.
Okay, but these guys go
to blight our athletes, them to stop them from coming home with them goals, because I know if you notice, Chantel and Kyron were doing very well before he showed up. When he showed up, when he bagged VIP Juju and neither one for, imagine Chantel jumping over 36 all year round. Wait, is over 6 meters all year round, close to the 7 meter mark all year round. And she fouled out on the first round.
VIP Juju. But listen,
the VIP bad mojo.
These guys can go to 5 funerals in a day. They're gonna go everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere that you see, there's a camera for them to look good. But this is how silly, I don't even want to call him stupid. This is how silly Natalio is. If he had the right people around him, you know what kind of, and I could say this because this is what I get paid to do, but you know the kind of PR he could have had by doing a tour of his schools post, ensuring that they were ready to be open. Look, my children go to public school. They went to Willow Whitley Primary School. Okay, so then they went to primary school system. My daughter is still there. And I'm going to tell you, whether people like to hear his name or not, my children knew who Myron Walwin was. Okay? Because he was in and out of those schools constant. They knew who he was. By the back of his head, the front, his side, they knew who he was. My children only know Natalia because his children went to Willard Ridley. You can ask them who the Minister of Education is. They do not know. And that is not a good thing.
Nope.
Okay, you want to tell me and he said it with such, is he from East? I don't believe that, but anyway, he said it with such conviction. He ain't walking around. Dude,
he don't got time.
When it is, we're going to really go down in the House of Assembly and close up that place down there on them. That's what needs to happen, you know. It needs to happen on him. Vincent, if he don't get an apology out and he don't get an Anegada thing fixed, they need to come out of office and Ship need to vacate his seat. That's 3 of them that gots to go.
Well, we are worried.
If they don't get it right, they gotta go.
Get pulled on the next election, them 3 right there who name the car gone.
That's sure. Just how I feel.
For sure.
Now, that's how I feel. They have a total disregard for the people that elected them.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
All they care about is taking picture. Andrew got this thing where now he doing some fact check thing.
Oh God, don't let's get started on that.
Fact check with a bunch of old projects.
Sam, how that fact check going?
With a bunch of old projects and things that you're saying to yourself,
you
taking credit for that? You taking credit for that?
Let's take a quick break and let's come back to some of those fact checks. We'll be right back. Let me bring them up right now.
I sent you one yesterday. I sent you one.
We're gonna be right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top-Up Turn-Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top-Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of Cut Deep. I'm not going to go through the whole long conversation. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get right back in it because I think we got about 45 minutes left and 3 major things to cover, and we're going to cover them tonight. Let's get on to this just the facts that the VIP puts out every week. Now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that they're putting out things that they've done each week. What I think they're trying to do is bring the territory up to date on things that they've done in their whole tenure so far. Correct, Sam? You think that's what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Based on the things that I see on the list, that's what I think they're doing. So we're gonna go through some of the facts sheet. If we got just the facts, I'm gonna go from number 7, go back. If we can thing. Where's Ivan Dawson Primary School?
King Academy.
Okay, so they repaired 2 roofs at Ivan Dawson. I don't know when that was.
We gotta find out about that one. I think the school is still keeping between the community center and the church.
They passed the Virgin Islands Gaming and Betting Control Amendment Act 2021. Now we can definitely say they did that last week.
Hold on.
That went through.
That's that gaming and thing for the casino, them?
Yeah. Last week. The one where you have stuff on the dock before it came. Yeah, that one.
What he named from insurance company be the first person to get a thing.
Easy boy.
Behave yourself.
No, I'm calling him.
Behave yourself.
One gotta make sure no not calling him.
Cause behave yourself.
What he mean I be the first one to bring a casino here.
I say behave yourself now, cause.
Restoration of Sandbox Park. Constructed a dedicated right turning lane into Passia Estate.
What the hell am
Constructed
by the moorings.
By the moorings. The little stupid, the little lane when they put in
Listen. Okay,
that's what he bragging.
Let's find someone. Yes.
That's the one that went out on Monday.
Number 6. The number 6 one. Return
Wait,
back.
man, you're missing one. That's stupid.
No, I read all of it. I read all, the roads, like roads. Number 5,
like
just the
road.
facts. Return banking to Virgin Gorda. Repaired Nail Bay Road. Passing of the Virgin Islands Air and Seaport Act 2021. When was that passed? The rehabilitation for Fish Bay Road, refurbish Anegada Fire Station, resumption of continuous water to the residents of Seacoast Bay. That is a lie. Introduced first ever Caribbean Unity Weekend. What is that? The other premier did what it was? Something Around the World, which was all about all the communities, everyone that lived here. So, I mean, okay, we are number 5. Traffic turn around the road, tongue Tortola. What is that? The one way in and out?
I guess
the traffic turn around the road, tongue.
The whole traffic flow.
The whole traffic turn around.
Yeah, the one road in and out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Grading of Plantation Road, JVD, reintroduction of the annual agriculture fair that nobody knew was happening.
Grading of Plantation
repairing,
Road, JVD.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You mean the road that full of potholes? The front road and the back road in Jasper Dyke in
Man,
good
look,
condition.
when you okay, I'm not even gonna go through these because when you go through them, it is ridiculous. You cannot talk about things that you're doing like fixing a road, grading a road, running a pipe, giving a community water. We are in 2021. Why they don't even have water?
Every day I hear about
these are not things that you
and puzzle.
Yeah.
These are not things that you gloat about.
Exactly.
You gloat about giving Anegada people their land.
Yes,
it's true.
Right, Sam?
You gloat about fixing all the schools.
All those things are important to other people, you know.
No, they're not.
No.
Grading a road.
Let me pass it for your thing. Let me pass it for your thing.
1 second. Go, Sam.
We should be mindful that where you're not satisfied, other people were affected. Hold on. Other people were affected by some of those things. So let's give the credit where credit is due.
Sam,
For example, the Passer Road were always a problem. Vehicles were always getting in an accident. People were cutting across the lane when they didn't have the right of way. It solved that
They're
problem.
still doing
So as minimal as you might
So we're going to gloat about that, Sam?
No, but these are just the facts.
Is this your thing?
That's all it is.
This is your thing?
What I'm saying to you is that where we don't give any credit to it, there are other people who are happy that those things were done because they were the one affected.
Okay,
by
let me 1 second, Pickle. Let me
Mm-hmm.
just be clear when I say this. Okay? I don't need to be grateful for you for doing your job.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Even the people. Even the people.
Exactly.
What we're saying,
And you should
Sam,
not be giving credit.
these things shouldn't be just the facts.
Exactly.
If you fix a road by my house, I will know because I'm driving on that road and I can feel better. I can call the minister and say, thank you. Thank you for doing that if I want to. You cannot gloat about it. If I pay you to do a job, you cannot gloat about it. Say, look, I did your job. Say thank you. Rub my back. Are you kidding me?
I don't think that's what it is.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
These just facts should be major things that you are doing to turn around the
country.
BVI. They put us on a foot forward.
You know what they need to gloat about? The fact they need to gloat about, and here's something that they could gloat about if they actually can. The actual advent of a real trade school in the BVI. Gloat about that when you actually make that happen. Gloat about that because we don't have a trade school.
Yeah, do your thing. They need to do things for bonus.
For the empowerment of the people.
But you know
the
crazy thing.
People.
These same
the facts
facts
should be bonus points.
You see all them same facts. Come election time, come when put all them on the paper and try to read them out. So if you ain't really paying attention, you say, man, them man do a lot of things, man. Do a lot of things. If they patch a pothole.
Do a lot of things.
If they patch a couple pothole, the minister got be on the side of the road hole, you know, onto the truck to take a picture.
Oh my goodness. It's so embarrassing.
I am tired of the politicians of the BVI looking credit for things that you're supposed to do.
You should
not be having no picture taking when you give a child in your district a $15,000 scholarship to go away to school. That's not something, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what they give you district money for. You shouldn't be showing up in somebody's hospital bed to say you give them $5,000 so that they could amputate their foot. That's not things that you, but you see, our problem is we are so, you see, the culture that administration, and I gotta say that, as in that government, because there's a VIP who's run the country for far longer than any other. So therefore, any examples of this and any examples that NDP also followed was set by them, and the precedent was set by them. This gimme culture and favor culture, where I had you and Pico made a good point about it in his last time, whether they give you $500 or $5,000 for your vote, or favor here or favor there, right? To buy your vote for the rest of your life. When trouble come, that money done. And you are part of the reason that we stuck with an ugly administration, because you were bad for so little bit. And we have been doing that for far too long. Too many little favors. Too many people that tell you, oh, vote for them because when your house going with from the bank, them could give you a check. That's not the government responsibility. There are too many little penny things that the people of the BVI now rely on the government for as a way to pacify them and as a way to buy them votes. And as a way, that's what it is. And this is what keeps them popular, because I'll say one, say two, and this is no hit to them. VIP will always let go the money quick for stupidness like that. Yeah. While NDP will say, but I know me can't give that $10,000 for you to go spend on stupidness like that, right? Yep. And that is why people really just draw the lines to say they don't like them. And the reality is, to say that I am not going to personally favor you with this piece of foolishness out of the government car force is the right way to go. We are used to too many stupid favors, too many BS favors from the government. It's used to it.
And
you want my vote? Why you going to give me?
Yeah, we need to get out of that.
It ain't no, you going to buy my vote, and you know, and this is why I keep telling you.
And buying your vote with your own money.
Buying your vote with your money is so stupid.
I want people to really understand what is going on.
Yeah, you buying your vote
with your own money.
You know the thing that I have never been able to understand, and as someone who has worked public works for so long, when I hear the contractors coming in there and they know they're being taken for a ride and they know they're being used as a pawn to take money out of the system, and they go, oh, we're going to inflate the price because it's government money. You realize government money is your money? Mm-hmm. Do you realize that eventually the government coffers will run dry if everybody think like you? And if everybody think like you and eventually we run dry, right? Your child ain't got to go to the same school. They don't got teachers like what we seeing going on with us now. You don't have to go to the same hospital that we now see in the carrying you used to walk there, in the funk.
We know them don't think longevity. This is the issue with us. We're selfish.
When you get your 60,000 from a major contract because you help the government steal $200,000 out of the contract and your cut was 60,000, you gotta go buy your Range Rover. Your stupid self ain't gotta drive on the same pothole ridden roads. You still ain't gonna be. I mean, granted, yes, you got suspension that you could adjust for certain things, but you can't adjust for everything.
Yeah.
Correct.
You can't adjust for everything. Correct. So what happened to your bill? Your brand new ride, and when your ride costs $60,000, your shocks them in $300 and $600 and $900 like mine. Your shocks them is $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and $5,000 depending on which ones you're buying.
Just the facts.
Okay? And then it's facts. And then it's just the facts.
I was trying to read through some more just the facts from these guys, and I'm just gonna encourage these guys along with my friend here, Sam, to really just bring something worth the people's time that you can send out each week.
Yep.
Something with substance.
This isn't it.
Something with substance. And that's to show you the just.
And no more cockamamie ideas neither. Eastern got the biggest population, yet you thinking of building the second public high school on the island in West End. Like that makes sense. What we do? Bust the trend them from East End, West End?
Of course.
That's exactly what I mean do. Somebody can get a bus contract.
Correct.
That's how they do things.
And if Isabella Morris problem, why it fall apart structurally? Is it too close to the sea? The new building ain't gonna got the same problem. And if you could come up with a design system to stop the new building from having the same problem, it makes sense put back the primary school instead of building a high school.
Well,
why would we build a high school in West End?
it don't make any sense.
Exactly. Eastern is the most populous place on the island.
But why we need to build another high school?
Right now.
You see how much space inside BVI High School?
You telling me like I don't know.
You see how much space in there? And this is
Well, wait, is the intention to do a junior school though? I think it's a junior high school.
Yeah, but you could
And
do a
they need to
junior
be
school.
separated.
You could do it in there and separate
Listen
it.
to me. Why do we need to separate junior high when you go to big American campuses, junior high and senior high on the same campus, in the same buildings, going to school at the same time? You know what need to happen to high school campus? Them other 3 buildings what Ira Smith done design till he dead and gone need to get built. The South Block, the West Block, and the gymnasium building need to get built. It need to get built. It need to get built, and the reason it need to get built is those 2 blocks that are missing speak to our 2 main industry, financial services and tourism. Because I've seen the plan, I've worked on the plan, I've helped redesign 2 of the 3 redesigns of the plan, and one of the things in the South Block was a whole entire top floor dedicated to food and nutrition and home economics.
We still do that in school?
They'd have to do specifically with
I think
how
it's at
you
the
would treat a
technical school,
hotel
right?
room, how you would set up a restaurant, how you would set up a bar. All of those things was in that. And so now you have a school, and the next thing that we need to do, upgrade the curriculum.
Yeah, the curriculum needs to upgrade. I take the
put
technical
the curriculum
school,
in an international market because right
the
now
technical school covers those are the things that you talked about.
Where you get them from? You mean they cooking?
No, they're doing other things over there.
They're cooking.
They're doing other things over there. I'll give them that. They are. Hair, they're doing a lot of different things.
No, I mean like in terms of tourism, they're cooking. But in terms of the part that has to do with, for instance, right, making up a table and a bed for 5-star resort is not the same as a 1-star or 2-star or home in your house. And we look at those things as simple things, but that's a skill. And that's a skill, that's an actual payable skill that's worth a lot in the market.
I want to get back to, and I don't mean to kill this conversation. I know that we could sit here for hours based on what I have here to talk about. But my good friend Sam there knows I want to get to the COI, get back to the COI.
You want to get to Claude.
Skelton, correct. Claude Skelton Klein. I want to get to that. If I don't get to it, my listening audience tonight, they're not going to be happy. I had lots of messages. And it is something that we have to talk about. And I mean, I don't have a problem.
Guilty.
I don't have a problem starting it off, and I can say that I wasn't surprised by Claude yesterday. I was not surprised.
Me either.
What was interesting for me though, I saw it, there's so much conversation around Claude and contracts that he's had from government, and I just saw that as the opportunity for him to clear his name.
Yeah.
Because if somebody say you do so and so, how can I walk around and say you do so and so? And I giving you the opportunity to have a conversation with you. I telling you why here, and you could start yourself out, and you refuse.
But that's why they will keep reiterating. What them will keep reiterating. We giving you a chance. We have this evidence that we have, but we giving you a chance now to come and clear your name.
Debunk it by giving us evidence. So to get this evidence, we're gonna ask you some questions. He cut on cold talking. He don't want to talk about the school community project. He don't want to talk about that at all because that's some 9, 12 years ago.
Ask the government.
Correct.
Ask the government. Ask the ministry. Ask the government. And he keeps saying he keep asserting his right as a private citizen. But I think one of the things that Claude and a lot of people, probably the foolish ones as usual, who would think that he had a grounds to stand on, because there are a lot of people, you just see the social media responses, so you know the main thinking right? And they probably say, oh yeah, Claude fix on me. The same way some of them and say, yeah man, we'll have to defend the people of the BVI. When in both instances, these people embarrass us on an international stage and made us look like children, right? The thing that I think that Mr. Skelton really, it seemed either the point fly over his head or he really didn't care, is that once you have entered into business with the government of the British Virgin Islands, the government of the Virgin Islands,
business.
right? It becomes the people's business because your contract becomes public record.
Correct.
Not because our government operates under this vow of secrecy and vow of silence because they don't want people to know how they're wasting our money. We, the public, are entitled to this information. Like, for instance, I remember when you came with a list with the farmer and fisher, they were like, who leaked the list? Who leaked the list? But it's not a matter of a leak, it's information.
Public information.
Yeah, they always call it a leak like this is the people's business.
You spent the government money, hundreds of thousands,
millions,
under hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars on this man. We never had a justification in any reason why you hire him. We never knew what you hire him for. Some of those contracts seem so hush-hush and so close, where money was passed and we see where the money passed.
No result.
Up to now.
And that's what CEO was saying.
Up to now, we see what this money passed for. And he keeps saying, oh, I am the only private citizen that's here and I'm not in government.
He sounded like a bloody child throwing a tantrum.
He sounded guilty. He sounded guilty.
To me, if he didn't understand, because I have a private entity, right? Kishma Perenco has never done business with the government of the British Virgin Islands. I ain't even bothering to waste them. Whatever farm, what them to be think, because I want none of them business. Me want them ask me to design nothing because I know the way government operate. When you come to me to design something, you want something back and I helping you to thief the government money. So I'm not involved. But any entity that does business with the government of the Virgin Islands should know that once that contract been signed and money passed, that's a public record, brother, and we entitled to ask questions about this. Period.
Correct.
Period.
Correct.
And you should there's no ground that you could there's no ground that you could assert that gives you the right to say you are a private citizen or a private contractor. No, you're a public contractor because these are public funds that you were given.
Nobody can say. Everybody else that went in the COI, from what I've watched, answer the question them as best as them could to defend themselves.
Right.
Claude didn't even want to open the packs.
Because he behaving like a guilty man. He didn't want. He was trying for them not to corner him.
Yeah.
And he you know, Rawa just got the patience in the wall. Rawa just went wrong
and he'll drink as much water as he got.
And that's what he got for, you know.
He ended up answering the question and right back.
But he has to. The commissioner was clear. You can say all you have to say, but we're gonna come right back to the questions. We're gonna answer the questions. You can say whatever you want to answer the question, but we have to answer the question. And whatever you say will be a matter of record. Whatever you say, however you want to say.
You know what? The one thing I'm loving about this commissioner inquiry, every single time them get one of these statutory board members and them in them hands, them always ask this one relevant question. What's your qualification for sitting on this board? And every single time these statutory board members ask these questions, they never have no answer. And they always just answer the question in a sort of rude, belligerent, indignant way. Like, how dare you ask me this question? Because they did it with Claude too. What were your qualifications?
Claude, he's the leader.
Claude said that he's sought after.
He's highly sought after for his lead by both parties.
By both.
For his leadership skills.
He does tremendous work.
Which was not to answer the question. He followed it up by saying that he had, when he did finally answer the question, because the question that was asked was, had you had any prior experience in the cruise business prior to getting this job as the director of port? He eventually ended up telling them no. And they asked him something else again. And he said, just look across the sea at the BVI, at Tatola, Sarah B. Romney, Tatola Pear Pack, and you can see my work speaks for itself. I don't know if I am memory sharp, right? But that man get fired before that project finished.
Fired.
He got fired from ports before that project finished. Matter of fact, he got fired before it properly started. Properly started.
You know?
And so how can you know, knowing that you were fired as the director of Ports Authority, and then you were further, yes, you had some temporary appointment on the board, but then they had you removed from the board, then sit down, take credit for something that you really had nothing to do with. How can you do that?
But why they make me laugh is when Raul was asking him some question, and he like, what's the name that accountant general? He
the
like, the auditor general report is
flawed.
Yeah, and so he said, these questions you're asking me, where you keep getting them from? And Raul let you know, well, this for the thing you submit.
That was so funny.
He like to know, well, this for what
And
you
he straightened his back and he said, I submitted that?
Yo!
Listen, that thing was a soap. Listen,
what was so funny, Kishma,
I don't know about you, but the CEO is a soap. Every morning when you said it, I don't be thinking to myself, oh yeah, she reminded me to tune into the soap proper. Let's see what's happening on Days of Our Lives.
Yes. But what was funny, the Claude came in and he said, you guys have made this thing basically a soap opera, and it's a cartoon show and all kind of thing, and the commissioner and Bilal is sitting in there like, but you're the one creating the whole circus. Like we is simply here answering your question and you just all over the place and you creating all of this chaos and all this talk. Kareem, A. Yes? No. We on to the next one. He said a whole sermon every single time they asked him a question.
Just like Andrew.
And there were actually some times that I thought, Claude, that was the perfect question for you to clear that little piece of thing there right now. Clear it. I think Claude even, I don't think indicted the word himself at some point. And I just sat there and I was like,
listen,
okay.
You know the question that I really want to know. Silk Legal ain't prepping none of them.
We're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come right back to Silk Legal and the COI.
Oh Jesus!
A quick short break.
Oh Jesus!
And Silk Legal. Road to elections. We're gonna cover that on the way back, and we'll be right back to wrap it up.
No, I really want that.
The win.
What in the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Is about to speak.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of Cut Deep. If you're joining us now, you've lost a lot, but thank you for tuning in. It's season 5, episode 1. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florist as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank Varieties Apparel, The Dressing Room, the Honorable Marlon Penn, as well as those of you who continue to support us behind this platform. I'm not going to take too long on the intro. I just want to get right back to the COI and Silk Legal, get an opinion on that, and then we're going to move on to what we're thinking the road to elections is going to look like. There's some other topics on here, but I think I'm going to bring these guys back somewhere mid-season, if my team would allow me. So, Silk Legal and the COI. Do you have an opinion, Sam? What is your opinion on Claude?
On Claude?
Yes.
None.
None? Okay, what about what he said in the end? I understood exactly what he was saying in the end. He was trying to appeal to the UK to be lenient on us and consider all that we've built. Our forefathers come up. He did quite the sermon at the end, but it didn't mean anything to me because they're the ones who have us in this spot. So I don't want to hear nothing they have to say.
That speech that he gave at the end is the speech that before the judge sentenced you, them ask you if the judge asks you anything before you get sentenced. That was his speech there.
But I can't tell you how much I looked at the commissioner's face when he injected, and he was just. The Brits have this raw way. There's this, he was just like. You don't need to tell me anything, basically. Claude, I know everything about you. I know whatever I need to know. And Claude was like, you know about me? He said, yeah, because you made everything that you have to say very public. So I know everything I need to know about your position on anything to do with the COI and the BVI. And I was like, Claude, just pack it in and go home. Let's get to Silk Legal. Oh, Lord.
The reason I bring them up is I really want that they prepping for the amount of money that we have invested into the law firm, and no disrespect to my cousin and Mr. Rowe, who are the partners of that law firm.
Well, I'm not respectful when it comes to the government's money.
I did not prepping these guys. Every single time they go to court, well, it's not farmer court, but it's still a court, so to speak, right? Every single time they go to the commissioner inquiry, you're 190 yourself. The answer, first off, you know they ain't prepared, based on the fact that they always seem like they're the headlines.
Well, Roy is always sleeping.
When the question is said to you, right? Then it's the responses in which they give, because I'm not no idiot and I ain't no liar, but I have enough experience through the courts personally, as well as what you know from the little bit you know, what you can pick up that actually stands from watching TV where law is concerned. The less you say, the better for you. If you said that I did this, prove it. These guys just go in there and then ask them about X, Y, and Z, and then they start with a whole entire alphabet, and when they're done, well, you just tell us how we got to X, Y, and Z to begin with. But we didn't know about all of this other stuff that you said.
And Robert
but now
very
we know.
good at not forgetting.
And oh yes, and every time they come with something, he pulls them up right away. He's like, oh, well, we was really asking about this. But you mentioned that, and now that you mentioned that, and then he come with a question, and it's like, I don't know to shut up. Nobody tell you to, like literally don't say anything besides. Or if you're going to speak in a way that every lawyer that I ever had a dealing with, we have to talk in court, short and succinct to the point.
I don't think these guys listen though, because if you look at how the argument was put into the judge to have the COI pause or cease because these guys needed to be called to the bar. If you look at how that was drafted and the concerns that the judge had with it, you could tell Julian wrote that himself. Because there are certain terms that lawyers know that they can't use in court, or to there's jargon and language that they use and not use. So you could tell that Julian decided what he wanted to say. I pay y'all. And you're going to put it in how I say you're going to put it in. Okay? And just by that alone, Silk Legal should be embarrassed. And they owe this territory some money.
Let me ask you a question. If you're a lawyer who's never been called to bar, won't you pick on the people who you feel should be called to the bar to be asking you questions? If you went to
I'm just saying that these guys, this is the way these guys are.
Asking.
They're not bright, but they think they're bright.
You are a lawyer by schooling and by education. However, you never qualified to be called to the bar. Won't you then try to pick on somebody by the same means in which have you secluded and excluded from practicing law? You think it's by chance that was a line of attack? He is a liar by training. He is a liar by schooling. However, he was not called to the bar. So if I'm going to pick on you for how you're operating...
He's a lawyer by schooling.
Right.
There's no training there.
Yeah, so if I'm going to pick on you in a way in which I think I can bring you down, obviously I'm going to attack you through my same Achilles heel. I'm going to go at you from my same weakness. I am going to pick the point in which excludes me to try to exclude you.
I can bring you to my battlefield.
But you can't, stuttering because that doesn't happen in the legal world. Like the judge did, he threw the whole thing out.
But Cindy,
so Julian was way out of his league.
Obviously, if he were paying attention in class, right? If you were paying attention in class, I know where he went to school, whether he went to school in the Caribbean or he went to school in the UK. If you are paying attention in class, all legal system, or the highest courts in our legal system is the English courts. Why would you pick on English professionals who stem from the highest courts? What are you doing that for? As what? So that they can then turn wrong and then put restrictions on our lawyers?
They believe that they're above the law. You see, I like about the COI. I like one thing about the COI. Them above the politician.
Yeah.
If when they tell them come, they got to show up. That's why I like.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree.
That's why I like
being called back.
Because when the politicians have nobody to answer to. They run while they
But they have nobody to answer to.
But now that the COI come do what them got to do.
They don't like
you
it.
Realize
They don't like
the
it.
COI don't really be in a set of long talk. Them like, oh, you're supposed to do this and how you're supposed to do it. All them, the COI that basically be like, you done?
Yeah.
We're going to proceed now.
Facts.
Basically,
That is the sweetest thing about the
basically.
COI.
Okay, we will leave you, have
Yeah.
your speech, and when you're gone on a terrain that none of them want to entertain, I'm sorry, I have to step you right
Yeah,
there.
them
That was
why
no
they-
help. You remember when Willa Creedy let up? I'm sorry, that did not help you at all.
It's pretty interesting, but that's kind of how the Brits are. They really cut and dry.
Yeah, that's how they are.
just like how I understand your government had went up there one time when they said they went to have a discussion on the this loan, and they showed up and they were 45 minutes late, and when they got there, the guys were like, well, we gotta go. You guys will figure that out. Wow. I want to, in my last 10 minutes, I want to talk about an interesting thing. I call it the road to elections. And I'm going to be talking about that from now until the next election. I don't know when that will be. It could be next week. But we will be talking a bit about the road to elections. And one of the things that I talk a lot about amongst people, I try to feel out where people are. And so I'm going to throw that question out to the three of you, and we're going to make it short because it's 10 minutes. We're going to come back to it in some of our other shows. But where do you think the territory is heading in terms of what they're looking for in a new government or new governance? Sam, you've been absolutely quiet.
I'm not predicting or having any conversation about the election. It's too early.
No, but what are you hearing out there? What are people feeling?
I am not commenting on anything.
Nothing at all. Go, Kish.
I mean, why government show you out the
It's too premature. No, it's
not. No, I am. Let me state this loud and clear. I am a supporter of the Virgin Islands Party platform, and regardless of who's leading the charge, I will be supporting the Virgin Islands platform.
Wonderful, Kishma.
Good.
I truly believe, based on the writing that's on the wall, and I showed it to y'all will agree with me, I think that our now premier will pull a fast one.
He call a snap election.
He can call a snap election
Thing I walk.
with the hopes that the
Catch
other
them
side
unprepared.
can't put
Which other side?
Well,
the
any
BVI?
side, any side.
Oh, okay.
He's hoping that whomever may farm or who's trying to farm parties won't get them act together enough to come with a strong enough opposition against them. But I can say this and put them on notice to who to listen. If we have to call an election, whether we do it now or we do it with the maximum time that is allowed, I'm telling y'all right now that broom game sweep try a camp. And y'all will be lucky. Right now as it stands, we got one man for sure, we know for sure, and y'all say they're going to be standing. But the rest of them, in a lot of trouble.
I double dare them to call it right now.
And I would say this, if they're brave enough, in them bars, big enough to call election, I hope they buy equal amount of pampers because they will need them when the election done. Because this is a case where when you have die-hard VIP supporters publicly taking, what we're not doing is, while we may not be taking the issues to the streets and taking the issues to the governor, if y'all paying attention to social media, y'all realizing how many stands VIP supporters hanging them publicly. People who you think would have never take these positions against them. I ain't gonna call names, but this man has always been employed by the VIP government, and he said, I tired it, and we don't want to hear nothing. We know y'all favoring each other. We know that there's uphandedness. We know that there's backhandedness. We know that these things are happening, and he has benefited from this system to now be speaking out about it. Them in trouble. Them in trouble because there's murmurings amongst them own camp members. You know, and that I know, I hear this on the street. You could see it. They're in trouble.
What has been disappointing the most? Two things. What has been disappointing the most is that I think if Andrew wasn't at the helm, the party would have get some stuff done.
Yeah.
I think if he wasn't controlling everything and got everything on lockdown, they would have gotten some stuff done. Two, right now, as it stands, from how I feel out the BVI people, they know what to do right now.
No, they don't, because the question that you're hearing from people is
Who we
going to put there? Who we going to put there?
All of me
and there's this emphasis about who is going to come forward, and that's what people concerned about more than anything else. And you know what? And what that does, and we already know what that does. That is how VIP will have a chance of doing something by playing on people's fares, because they always play on people's fares. Because one of the rhetorics that they have always sown, and I know this one from a little girl, you're hearing it, we know what we got, we know what we gain, carry how long you hang there.
Yeah, for
Cindy,
true,
how
a
long
long
you hang
time.
there. From little children, that was the rhetoric around VIP. You know what you got,
but
you
listen,
don't know what you're getting.
I would love it if they came with that. Because look what we get.
Listen, I think going forward, we need to craft our government.
Yeah.
We can get out of the party
system,
politics.
correct.
Get out of the party politics. Stop voting for people because they're famous. You know who these people is on the streets.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yeah.
So stop voting for people because they're famous or them buy your drink here, buy your bar, something.
Yeah.
We have to craft the government, and we have to move forward with the country in mind.
And
I need to understand, once BVI do good,
Everybody
everybody going
does
to do good. It's going to trickle down. It's going to trickle down because you can realize now the country in a bad state and a lot of people doing bad. If the country were in a good state, a lot of people will be doing good.
Yeah?
You had your 2 and 3 hustle, you would be able to have your 2 and 3 hustle, but now you barely got a point 1 or hustle, half a hustle, quarter hustle.
Yeah.
You understand? We need to come together and craft. Like, you would go and pick up a candidate with loyalty. He have good morals, and you know if you put that man in there, that man going to defend the place to the ground.
But because
they wouldn't vote for you.
For
they would not vote for you or you not a party.
A lot of people keep asking me, Kishma, we want you to run. And let's talk another part of the coin. You want me to run because you want me to break the system that exists to put you in favor and disenfranchise those who you think in favor right now. When reality, the real change that needs to happen is a leveling of the playing field for everybody. And this is why I keep telling people I'm not interested in politics, because the reality is I don't plan to reform this system. The wheel and broke, I plan to finish, broke it up and build something brand new. And they don't want something brand new. They want me to patch this wheel, take it off of this one car because you eat too much and put it on theirs. And that is also something that we need to move away from if we want to actually see this place get better. We have to stop. We literally, whenever elections come around, we need to stop thinking about and not enough people think about country. And I've made this argument many times, and a lot of popular social media people have come to me and tell me, oh, you poor man between a rock and a hard place when he gone in there. Yes, he might be thinking about country, but then he thinking about family, and then he turn around and say, let me safeguard my family. If you're a politician or high-level civil servant, and you don't understand that the best decision for your family is the best decision for the country, right?
Then you don't need to
you don't need to be in there, because anything that you pick for the overall benefit of the country must benefit your family.
Correct.
But when you only pick for your family interests, you're not benefiting the country, and then the country gonna suffer. And guess who gonna suffer eventually? The same family, because the money we steal today must run out. Because if you're in politics to keep thief in it and keep lying in your family pocket, and even if you're in politics, right, and you keep thief in it and we go broke, where you continue to get money from?
Yeah, the BVI has to decide what
they want
and where they want to be.
We got decided
and they have to take it very serious, because like I said, our institutions were on our face. And so we have to take where we are right now with this COI very seriously. The other day I said to somebody, I was in a quick conversation, and I said, you know, when we're going to take this seriously, when we see HM ships pulling up out there. We wake up one morning, we're going to see them pulling up out there. And the person was defensive. And I said to the person,
when National come.
I said, well, let me ask you a question then. What are you going to do when you see them pull up there? Call the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force? Call Her Majesty's Customs?
They ain't got no power.
Exactly. They belong to the Queen. So who are you going to call? So we need to take the things that we do seriously, We need to take this COI seriously, and we need to have plans in place for the protection of this territory. I've said it before, from the sitting government, we need protection from them, and we need protection from the UK.
Yep.
Where is that team that's going to step up? We're going to wait. We're going to see. I have a lot of hope for this territory. Until I go 6 feet, I'm going to remain hopeful.
And people need to stop voting for the popular person.
And yes, and change
for
will come.
party.
Stop voting for party, stop voting for popular person. And another point that a lot of people don't miss, don't just think about who on the ruling side. You need bulldogs and the opposition to keep them there honest and in check. Honest and in check. You just need to go to the box thinking about by voting all the way this way because I want them win. What happened if, let me show you a scenario. What if we end up like Barbados where one party sweep the whole house? Would you be comfortable with one party sitting down on both opposition and government side?
It'll be more work for you.
Okay.
It'll be more work for you and Pickle Marth and Sam to do it myself. We, as usual, remain the opposition. I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm out of time, but I appreciate you guys joining me on the show. We're going to do this again. Thank you for tuning in tonight. The season is going to be an exciting one. We have some great topics and discussions coming up for you on the Commission of Inquiry. We're going to continue to look at that and other issues affecting the territory. I'm happy to be back. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so via cutdeep@gmail.com, or you can contact me at 284-440-3234. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.